For this outcome, we will find the percentage from parts of a ratio. Have a look at this question. Ali and Bill share an amount in the ratio 2-3. Ali gives half of his share to Chris. Bill gives a quarter of his share to Chris. What percentage of the original amount does Chris receive? The total amount of the 2 and 3 can be represented as 100%. So let's find out the amount as a percentage Ali and Bill have by sharing 100% into the ratio 2-3. The total parts equals to 2 plus 3, which equals to 5. To find the amount in one part, we divide 100% by the total parts, 5. This will equal to 20. Ali has 2 parts, so 2 lots of 20. Ali therefore has 40%. Ali therefore represents 40% of the amount. Bill has 3 parts, so 3 lots of 20. Bill therefore represents 60% of the amount. Now this is set up and clear, we calculate half of Chris's amount as a percentage. Half of 40 is 20%. Now a quarter of Bill's amount. 60% divided by 4 equals to 15%. 20% and 15% of the whole amount is given to Chris. Therefore, Chris gets 20 plus 15, which equals to 35% of the original amount. Have a think about this question. Sam spends his money on games, sweets, and drinks in the ratio 1-3-6. He spends his money on the drinks, Coke, water, and Fanta, in the ratio 6-4-5. What percentage of his income is spent on water? Similar to the previous question, we split 100% with the ratio 1-3-6. 1 plus 3 plus 6 equals to 10 parts. 100 divided by 10 equals to 10, which is in each part. 1 times by 10, 3 times by 10, and 6 times by 10 gives us 10%, 30%, and 60%. We now know drinks represent 60%. The ratio 6-4-5 represents all the drinks. Therefore, this ratio represents 60% of her money. We now find out what one part represents in the ratio. 6 plus 4 plus 5 equals to 15. Now, we divide 60% by 15 to find what one part represents. One part represents 4%. Water represents 4 parts, so water is 4% times by 4, which therefore equals to 16%. 16% is the final answer. The next part is similar to the previous, but deals more with fractions. Let's have a look at this question. Io and Emmanuel have some cookies in the ratio 1-4. Io has chocolate chip cookies and raisin cookies in the ratio 7-3. Emmanuel has chocolate chip cookies and raisin cookies in the ratio 2-3. Out of all the cookies, what fraction of Io's cookies are raisin? What fraction of Emmanuel's cookies are raisin? What fraction are raisin overall? Pause and have a go at this question. We first find the fraction of cookies Io and Emmanuel have. The total number of parts is 1 plus 4, which therefore equals to 5 parts. Out of the 5 parts, 1 represents Io's cookies and 4 represent Emmanuel's cookies. Therefore, the fraction of cookies they have are 1 out of 5 parts and 4 out of 5 parts respectively. Next, we find the fraction of their amounts that represent raisins. For Io, there are 7 plus 3, which equals to 10 parts in total. 3 parts out of the 10 parts represent raisins, so 3 out of 10 of his amount are raisins. To find the fraction of an amount, we multiply the amount by the fraction. Therefore, 1/5 of 3 over 10 is the same as saying 1/5 times by 3 over 10. The fraction of raisins Io has is 3 out of 50. We do the same for Emmanuel. 4/5 times by 3/5, as 3 parts out of 5 represent raisins. This equals to 12 out of 25. The fraction of raisins overall would therefore be these two fractions added together, 3/50 plus 12/25, as they represent the fraction of raisins. 50 is a common denominator, so we maintain the equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and denominator of 12/25 by 2, giving us 24/50. Adding the numerators, we get 27/50 as the final answer. To summarize, to find the percentage of sections of ratios, share 100% into the ratio provided. Further, share the part using the next given ratio. When finding the fractions of an amount, change the ratio to a fraction and find the proportion of an item by multiplying by a given ratio.